Define your genetic structure. Choose a genetic resilience. Choose your first style. Pick your main color. Choose your detail color. Pick a class. Command Deadeye, Sentinel, Saboteur, Psy-Freak, Commando. Deadeye, Commando, Sentinel, Saboteur, Psy-Freak, Commando, Deadeye, Commando, Deadeye, Deadeye chosen. That'll work. Here's somebody with a troubled past, drawn into the spotlight of a story that's already begun. We're already at a crossroads. Choosing a path in life is that fork in the road where you make a choice or simply stop living. But for you, it's not only a crossroad, but a choice. A reflection of your key, the primal energy that flows through everything.
Let me introduce myself. I'm the light and bright side of you, or your inner voice to be precise. An echo of balance and consequence of your actions as you move forward.
Seems more like you're being light-headed if you ask me, but you'll come around, eventually.
But what comes around goes all the way back around. So, it's better to stick to your instincts. You can't fight what's in your nature.
In your nature? And here I was hoping we'd be all about natural selection, survival of the strongest, and so forth. If that's not instinct, then I don't know what is.
Natural selection is all about evolution and progress. And as soon as there's enough light, darkness will disappear.
Right is always right. Stories of death and the bodies left behind, a reminder that we're at the mercy of nature and the one that preys on others. Do you remember the beast that shattered your family, or did you choose to forget? You turned your back on our world and got lost in your own. Meanwhile, the predator only grew stronger. Better make a run for it. This is not the time nor place to end this story. This time it was best to run and live to fight another day. Let us hope you're ready for it when it comes. The predator isn't the only threat. The wildlife started to mutate when the end of days began, and the tree of life started to die. Bang, bang! Nothing like a little exercise. The oil sludge is everywhere. To most, it only means death. But some have adapted to the new environment and changed with it. Evolution has its ways. Made quick work of that one.
King!
That's an improvement. Look, an emergency box from the once was. A rare sight. pipe looks weak. The claw bar should come in handy. Whoa! It's time to find a way out of this place. No, really, I mean it. The Morks produce biomatter in their multi-organ that they shed under distress. Blobs that affect the cellular coding strands of any living being when absorbed, including you. Murder! Hack and slash! Keep hauling yourself into the air. Toxanol built vessels called arks to save themselves from the impending doom. But was it too late? It is only from the flight logs of the single ark they left behind that we know other arks travelled through the sky and beyond. It seems those that came before us never lost hope in finding a new home for their kind. That's not opening on its own. There are few records of the chain of events that led to the big apocalypse eons ago, but it's clear the world wasn't prepared for how recklessly the Toxanol Corporation would make its mark on the world. Their rare earth mining and nuclear industries generated tons of waste, and, without consideration for the future, they dumped it all in landfills until they ran out of space. That's when they made the big mistake. They began dumping the toxic waste in the surf just off the coast instead, assuming that it would sink and decay with time. And they were right. But no one was prepared for what was about to unfold. Once in the surf, the radiation interfered with the genetics of the wildlife and created bizarre mutations in their offspring. It had an inconceivable impact on biodiversity and the entire ecosystem. The world as they knew it crumbled as nature retaliated. It would never be the same again, and what remained of it became ours. The sound of spark metal going pew-pew is never a good thing. It's coming from behind that door. A warning label. The box looks like a potential brain melt. It's going to take a bit of puzzling to short-circuit the door. There you go. The wheeled one is outnumbered. You'd better help him out. Right in the face. That's the last of them. Let's talk to the wheeled one before backup arrives. That's the good stuff. He wants to thank you for taking his side against the scavengers. He sounds familiar. You just can't figure out why. He presents himself as out of date. He knows he's way overdue, but he hasn't given up. He doesn't seem surprised that you don't recognize him. You were just a child back then, the night everything changed. There have been rumors of a one-eyed Ronin seen outside the Great Wall, and he's happy to see it's true. The legend of the one-eyed child that grew up as an outcast is old and sad. The child could have been anyone, but the evil it had fled had left a mark, a facial scar to remember the past.
Ewe bobuye. Maotoliawahu.
It's a scar you're covering under that eye patch, isn't it? But he would have recognized you anyways. You look exactly like your Muma.
Valu alu hirwa. Kabobe farhi.
There's no doubt you're the child, and that what Lupa Lupin did to your village, your Muma and Popsy, was the beginning of the end.
Beboko kontabe. Weta gono. Yevofo lolanofo.
He says it has taken you a long time to bring the past back up to the present, to find your way back, but he's grateful you have.
Luatulu maua.
It was after the attack that the unity fell apart. Your Muma's disciples divided and formed tribes as a reaction to the blight that had fallen upon the land.
Momombusu? Weta gono. Luatulu maua.
After the old village was destroyed and you disappeared, a struggle between the families erupted, and over time, the disciples turned against each other.
Cantita duela bofo. Luatolu tum.
Had it not been for the Tree of Life, no one would have survived. He hoped. Asks if you are tired, as it's a bit of a hike here from the village. He wonders if your Muma knows you are here. You're such a good child, so you probably did. Even the young... He understands why you came all the way out here, to see them, the potato people. The potato people, or Nono, are a wonder, somehow interlinked with this little tree here, fueling its source of life. You might be right. Like potatoes, they're packed with energy, an excellent source of ki. The Nono prefer to hide in glitter grass. He says you should get over there and ruffle it. See if you can make one come out of hiding. You found one. You should be proud. They don't come out for everyone. The small tree you saw up there where you met will eventually grow into a tree of life and start giving back to nature. It'll be the heart of the land. You'll need to support the tree for a long time to come. The only way it'll grow tall is with the burst of ki released from the nono. You'll need a net to catch the nono, and he wants you to use his, but asks you to be gentle. The nono are sensitive. You've never done anything else. He's impressed. He's grateful for all the help he can get. There's lots of nono out there that need to be guided to the... Oh, it'll need a continuous flux of ki over the 12 months to come. One day, he hopes the tree will have grown tall enough to sustain the world. Now that you've seen the nono's connection with the tree with your own eyes, from this day on, he'll make nurturing the pensai into a tree of life, a life goal. Not only... One day, the land won't be as peaceful. Not even your You can already see the effects from how reckless those before us acted, and unless something changes, we're doomed. The land won't survive the side effects of the old world's industrial advances. He says you'd better hurry back to the village before your Muma comes looking for you. You did good here today. No, she's got lots on her mind and needs rest after the raid last night on the Lupin camp with her disciples. Wonders if they let the Predator family live or not. He lost you there for a while, but no memory is alone. It's part of a trail you can follow. He says he remembers every single day he devoted to growing the Tree of Life, but now he's afraid it might be in vain. The tree started to die when the end of days begun, and it wasn't long after that that the World Eaters arrived. The genetic evolution that occurred after the apocalypse the Toxanol Corporation inflicted on the land set the World Eater's DNA into overdrive. His friend Gizmo is working on a Mekton and needs help defeating the Jumbo Puff at the end of the West Route. Wiz is still repairing his octopod to confront the Merc Puff that dwells deep down under the surface at the end of the Northwest Route. Nocco has tamed the midget and is preparing to take on the hoof puff at the end of the east route. Finally, Goop is almost done with the Goo Glide, a machine able to ride the waves of the surf all the way out to the Porky Puff at the end of the route to the southeast.
Setuatan Popkila, Ayamu Aya.
Out of Date says his friends are gearing up to stop the World Eaters. There's one at the end of each route. The road ahead won't be easy, but he's counting on your support. His friends aren't strong enough to end this on their own.
Ayamu Aya. Kamuipa.
He wants you to understand that you'll all die if the tree isn't saved.
Mauketo, Tolu, Ayadre, Auketo, Tul Atto, Yamanau.
He claims names have power, so he gave them these names to weaken them. For him, the Porky Puff is particularly personal. It was that carnivorous beast that took his leg. Regardless, you'll meet again once you've played your part in the tribe war and the situation. You're getting the hang of it. Quickest way out is through the roof where they came in, and the rope looks strong enough to climb. Know that the Tree of Life is dying. Its days are numbered. Without help, it can't endure the environmental change and assault from the World Eaters. A signpost maps it out for the cartographically challenged. Let's see. Let's see. must be the World Eater that chewed off Out-of-Date's leg. You'll need a hat trick to bring that down. The World Eaters have made their marks on our world over time. That's not the first nor the last village it'll leave in its wake. Look, a survivor. Glad to see someone made it out alive. He's heard the stories about the terror inflicted by the World Eaters to other enclaves, but never expected one to come all the way here. He worries there won't be much left to save if this continues, even if the Tree of Life survives the attack. He doesn't know what your connection is to this place, but something tells him you've stayed true to your heart. Anyway, he needs help and says it's by your actions you'll be judged, not. He's grateful for that. You still seem to have a spark of light in you.
Ah! That's a spark of light in you!
What's there to like about light? It hurts to look at.
Not as much as it hurts to look at you.
Always making this personal.
And you're always trying to pretend it's not.
There's Out-of-Date again. He must have missed something important. Out-of-Date says you will make a better stand against the World Eaters with the support of a tribe, and there are two nearby. The Myriad tribe is likely to be a good match as they act on the understanding of the greater good and have a code of honor. Regardless of who you choose, it won't be easy, as the conflict between the tribes is worse than ever, teetering on the brink of war. Out-of-Date says someone needs to break the state. The Myriad's conviction to stop the World Eaters began when the Leviathans rose. Siding with the Myriad's movement for wholeness in a fragmented world might seem like the logical thing to do, but is it the right thing? One thing's certain, though. Destiny arrives all the same. Myriad is the Jagni tribe only ever had one conviction: to bring balance to the world by wiping out the weak. They believe a cleansing is necessary to... But siding with Jagni isn't necessarily a bad thing. Fate will find a way. Another fork in the road. It's either the tunnel or the motor bridge. What'll it be? It's unusual that natural tunnels like this still exist. Most of them got flooded. Swoon. This area was beautiful before the tribe war began. Look at it now. It's a war zone. That's the Myriad Tribe's fortress. Will they be friends or foe? You should head up there. That way you'll know. Let's see. It's a beaten path to that door. If you go there, you'd better make an entrance. Says they're wary of strangers. They're at war. He can see you're a free spirit, so he'll let you in. The Sifu is always interested in meeting someone open to joining their cause.
La fanen aginkan man. Geratna fal hutut mustugai la wute.
The Myriad tribe act on understanding of the greater good and a code of honor. They believe uniting the tribes is the only way to restore the peace. The Sifu is convinced that defeating the World Eaters and saving the Tree of Life is the only way to make the world a better place. He welcomes you to the Myriad Fort and introduces himself as the tribe's Sifu. But he was hoping you'd show up. The news of a vigilante Ronin on crusade crossing the Great Wall through the crack in Bunker 101 has preceded you. He heard you took out-of-date side against the scavengers in Bunker 101. It seems you believe in helping your next, and that's something you have in common. He's convinced you've returned for a reason, and is glad you chose to come here. The Sifu says sometimes one memory can make another come to life. He hasn't thought about your Muma for ages, even though she taught him a lot. He was one of the original Wang Fu disciples. Your Muma invented Wang Fu. Originally, it consisted of unarmed combat and the 6 weapons: the boomerang, the shuriken, the bow, the staff, the nunchuk, and the hook and chain. The Sifu says it's time to set the past aside, at least for now. Unrest is sweeping the land, and there are rivals in all directions. Myriad wants unity between the tribes. Their goal is understanding of the greater good and establishing a code of honor. If you believe there's some good in everyone, there's still hope for tomorrow. You'll unite the tribes and defeat the World Eaters to save the Tree of Life.
What?
He was hoping you'd join them. You understand that there's no harm in doing good to others. The Sifu was waiting for something to tip the balance in their favor, and with you by their side, he's confident you can unite the other tribes. The one you should coerce first is the Jagni tribe. The Myriad were placed here to fulfill a certain purpose, chosen to unite the tribes and take control of their destiny. The tribes need a firm hand guiding them into the future. Their kin have run out of options and found themselves backed into a corner. Even those who desire peace have been forced to prepare for war. They might bring them war, but they'll never take away their inner peace. He wants you to focus. These are the new rival outposts your tribe needs to take control of. He says you'll regret not being on their side. The only way you'll learn their secrets, Wung Fu and the tribe weapon now, is if you defeat him. And that will never happen. You both have gentle minds, so they want to wage a gentle war. A war that bonds as much as it breaks. Tells you not to be afraid. Your fate cannot be taken from you. Claim the rival outposts and earn the right to wield the tribe weapon. Once you've dealt with the rivals' outposts, you'll challenge their Sifu to unite their tribe with yours and let your kin share land again. They passed the point of no return as their words lost power and see no other way forward than using violence to combat violence. Myriad wants unity between the tribes. Their goal is understanding of the greater good and establishing a code of honor. He remembers your kind and unselfish soul and can sense you still... Anyway, the memories you make with your family are strong and can sometimes come to life. Passing the old village on your way to the first rival outpost might help. Even though it's now a different place from a different time, It is a place that'll make you remember. Wonders if Ankati prefer thin air so they can enjoy more light in their lives, like the Myriad do. Says you're... Think of all the things you can cut with this. Any kind of protection, you take it. Better beware, that's a mump up ahead. They were hit hard by evolution, the wonky ones especially, deformed and unfurred. You're fading. Cracker Doom. You're bruised. Better beware, that's a mump up ahead. They were hit hard by evolution, the wonky ones especially, deformed and unfurred. Double kill. Half-lifed. As long as you're happy about it. Time is lost on this place, but it evokes a tingling sensation. There's something special about it, drawing you closer. Let's see. As time passes, memories fade, and sometimes feelings change. It's not about who you were, it's about who you'll become. This story is far from over. Echoes of a long-lost past, like whispers in the wind. Here's someone who takes each day as it comes. He asks how you are today. Then he wants you to know that if you find yourself going through bad times, you should just keep going. He wonders where you've been. He hopes you've been out at the lake, practicing your swimming technique. Learning to swim can be scary when you don't know what you're doing. But fortunately, he's here to give you a helping hand. He thinks you should really know how to swim by now. And he'll be honored. He says, that wasn't too bad, was it? Way to go. Don't let the sound of the waves drown out your spirit. But you need practice. Lots of practice. Great things usually happen to those who never stop trying. He hopes you'll be one of them. You just need more time in the surf. That's the only way you'll ever learn how to swim. He knows that's not true. You've just made up your mind you're not. Judging by your Mooma's look, it seems you forgot something. You promised you'd train with her before the sun goes down. It's time to go. You know you can't make up for lost time. You should know, practice makes perfect. As long as it doesn't kill you, it'll only make you stronger. She'll see you at the village square. She'll be waiting for you. There will be a surprise for you at Here's another familiar face with lots on his mind. Asks how you're feeling today. He's learned that things are never as bad as they seem. He was hoping you could help him pick up some scrap for a thingamajig he's working on. He's happy to hear that from someone that's a part of the coming generation. You owe it to yourself to protect the environment.
Fruit drip jig typo.
He wonders what usefulness you found. He says whatever it is, it shouldn't be left lying up. He can work wonders with almost anything and asks if you know how to upcycle. He says only a few are willing to do the little things, but if you make enough of them, they can... He'd love to teach you to upcycle, and the scrap you...
Sit up.
You did well, but he can't help but wonder why you decided to craft a weapon. He believes being considerate will help you feel at peace with yourself.
Sit up.
He understands, but hopes you won't be needing it anytime soon. He thinks mastering the 6 weapon styles of Wang Fu is more than enough for anyone. He's looking forward to seeing what you'll make next. It seems you have a talent. It looks like she's starting to lose her patience. You know she doesn't like waiting for you. She wants to see you on the village square. Then you've got a good excuse. You share a responsibility to prevent hardship on nature and the environment. It's your future. She wants you to grow up and start thinking for yourself. You really need to find yourself before she's gone. She says it's not only about this moment and where you are going. You have to find yourself first, then everything else will follow. You've always followed your own path, but this time she needs you to follow her. She wants you to understand that whatever path you choose in life, you must stay true to yourself. They look determined. Better watch out. He asks you to stop right there and wonders where you think you're going. He says that it's not too late for you to turn back, though. There's no way they'll let you pass. He wants to know who you think you are. They push each other to become better, and sometimes someone gets pushed down along. She asks if you're hurt. What happened? She's there for all disciples. That's her commitment as Sifu, and when she needs them, they're there for her. The most important thing is that you're okay. It's time to focus on your training now. She said it before. Wang Fu will keep your body in good health, and that's how you keep your mind strong and clear. Here's someone close to heart, doing what he does best. Seeing you always puts a smile on your Popsy's face. He wants to know how you're feeling. He knows growing up is hard, and things will continue to go wrong as you become older and figure out how to make them right. He asks if you could help him, too, before you leave for training. He'll talk to her, sure, but you know she wants you to accept responsibility for your own action. He suggests you get going and find him gadgets and ideas for how you can upcycle some old...
Isko.
He's curious to see what you found.
Woksa u intabadang kale sam.
He's all for renewal and has even considered making the trip out into the wilds to look for a bionucleus pool and refresh his DNA.
Papa Zulu. Vaksan mar malva cherry.
He can work wonders with pretty much anything and asks if you know how to upcycle.
Intabadang waksuva. Inmo. Intabadang farujudo.
Says at least dirty hands are proof that you tried, and that counts. That you failed this time doesn't mean...
Hidlo.
He says it's about time you learned how and offers to teach you.
Como judo pavazil. Intabadang waksuva.
The style might be too edgy for his taste, but it looks sharp on you.
Daremayak.
He knows she's already proud of you, and
Vitze njavov.
you should take it with you, wear it to practice.
Daremayak jira vabasko.
He's sure your Muma will forgive you for...
Me?
He's looking forward to seeing what you'll make next.
Your
Muma says it's about time you got here. Hopes you're as ready as you claim. She says she is eager to get started. You don't... But there's enough time left for repetition, and you need it. Training dummies don't hit back. That's a good attitude. Your Muma says you did well today. She's so proud of you. Thanks you for... Been working on a present for you, with the help of Gizmo. You should go see him and find out what it is. You've deserved it. That's why you should be sure to thank him for it. Catchy.
Pendrine-senema.
Your Muma says she's never seen an apparatus as green as this little thing. It's wonderful.
Kuri kumbalamuma.
Figuring that out is half the fun.
Kanamunta. Ferena masalapu.
A piece of Scraptronics like this has built-in old-world tech that makes it a potent communication.
Kalino?
It's called an automaton, and it's hardwired to your DNA. It'll follow wherever you go and see whatever you see.
Ansonbara.
Says it's not a record keeper, more like a companion.
Ansonbara.
Your Muma says you look tired. No wonder. It's been a long day.
Pialtuma.
She's so happy you made the most of it. Rest, and you'll find strength for tomorrow. Nothing could stop Lupa Lupin from setting the world on fire.
Amporo. Kensi. Tamonu.
Your Muma urges you to blaze a trail. A burnt kidling will learn to dread fire. That's just adding fuel to the flames. Give it a last burst and you'll make it.
It's intended.
Your Muma says this is it. The time has come. She must fight Lupa Lupin. This time there's no escape. She can hear him coming.
Gendrana mala.
He wants to destroy her. The time to fight is coming, whether she...
Ngadaldo. Arialoche nui mumera.
Whatever happens, you need to know she loves you. And everything she's done has been to protect you.
Arialoche nui mumera.
She tells you to stay back. This is her fight. It has nothing to do with you.
Urasa burut. Kamonu.
She loves how brave you are, but she can't be worrying about you while she fights. This is her. Here it comes. The past coming to haunt the present. You must go through fire and water to make it out of here. Your Muma says you can make it if you believe in it. Where she goes, you go. Blood is thicker than water. You're in deep surf. Don't make waves. The surf goes where it wants to go. It'll take you to the shore as long as you go with the flow. As time passes, memories... He asks how you are. He wonders... He says that... He's sure... You just need more time in the surf. That's the only way you'll ever learn. You can... Judging by your Mooma's look, it seems you forgot something. You promised you'd trade... Here's another familiar face with lots on his mind. Asks how you're feeling today. He wonders what... He can work wonders with almost anything. You did well, but he can't help but wonder what... It looks like she's starting to lose her patience. You know... They look determined. Better watch out. There's no way they'll let you pass. You'll have to face pain at some point. He offers to... She asks if you're hurt. She says it's nice of you to consider the most... Here's someone close to...
Waksan Mishak Hafe. Wa Mishak Hafe Zavania.
He's curious to see what...
Zatuna. Why ad foodle a higher?
He's all for in.
Wali. Bustarin Yadafa.
He can work one...
Oven.
Think summer.
Me.
He says... The style might be too edgy. Agrees. At least that way it'll never go. You should take it with you. Wear it to... He thinks you should.
Kututuk pial taifana vasen kasaman varut. Andro?
Your movement.
Volakamunum varut pala. Inad antoro volakamunum varut tropal.
Catchy.
Volakamunum varut na.
Your movement.
Kanamunta.
She's...
Pen nampusa. Na pen napolak asana yotu.
Rest, and you'll find... Not your Muma urges you to blaze a trail. A burnt kidling will learn to dread fire. That's just adding fuel to the flames. Give it a last burst and you'll make it. Your Muma says this is it. The time...
Antoro, dere, san, kalin, ritzentere.
Here it comes. The past coming to haunt the present. must go through fire and water to make it out of here. Your Muma says you can make it if you believe in it. Where she goes, you go. Blood is thicker than water. You're in deep surf. Don't make waves. The surf goes where it wants to go. It'll take you to the shore as long as you... Death is not to be feared by one who has lived life with a pure heart. A part of her will live on in you. The creature is hungry for more. Nothing is going to stand in its way now. If a sacrifice is made for someone else, it's not lost, but passed on to the next. Life must go on. Real sacrifice comes from love and necessity when all other options are exhausted. The ultimate test of conscience is the willingness to give up anything to save what you truly care about. What you do for yourself dies with you. What you do for your kin remains and makes you immortal in their memory. As the moment fades and is lost, the only thing that remains is loneliness. It doesn't mean you'll forget your past. It simply means you need to move on. The tribe's caught a fluffy hulk. Better watch out, it's no pet. They couldn't keep it down. Fluff hulk's on the loose. Might want to fall back. becoming terminal. You gave them no choice but to take it down, even though they'd planned to take the Fluff Hulk out to the Farfnaki leaves and let it... They've received news a Ronin had strengthened their ranks and were looking forward... A group of myriad crusaders already headed out to Jagni's Mercadorpus outpost and are waiting... You should hurry there and help them best the outpost. You complete them. From this point on, the Myriad is unbroken. Look, an emergency box from the old days. Wow, bet that nut makes a tight fist. Up for grabs. Tunnels like this still carry echoes from the past. Can you hear it? Bash down! Dented that one good. That notice board? Filled with the leftovers of used-to-be wants. You're getting close to one of those old Toxanol brick towns. The Toxanol Corporation made this place, and then just... Toxanol never cared about the waste, as long as they didn't have to pay to clean it up. There must be a track somewhere in this brick town. Just hope it's not buried. Watch your step in the forest. You found the whereabouts, the deepest, darkest forest in the land, sometimes hard to see for all the trees. You don't have the key energy for that. Breathe a little lighter now that day's returning. Mind blown. That ain't bad. That's a Jackney tribe outpost. Knuckle up. More scrap for you?